to lie, won't stop to lie, can't stop to lie, won't stop to lie, can't stop to lie, won't stop to lie, ain't no Chico, just be smooth.
Welcome to another episode of TechDontSleep Podcast. It's your boy Bill McCleskey in the building once again, and I have an amazing guest with us. We have Karima Kibble in the house. Welcome.
Thank you
for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Listen, if y'all don't know, you better catch up to speed because Karima has been doing some great things in the music industry. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a fan.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan. I've been following Karima probably and the group that she's a part of, Virtue, for over 20 years.
Yes.
I think.
So
I just told you.
He just told my age. It's fine.
Oh,
no kidding.
That's all good. You look great. So I told Karima that I saw Virtue perform at MTSU, and this had to be about 20 years ago. Yeah. So no, but I've been following your career, and recently you're on a solo trajectory and doing your thing. So we're gonna jump into your story and talk about what you're up to now, what's on the horizon, and how technology has impacted the industry and your journey, and go from there. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Because you also just told me you got a 10-month-old dog at home. You got to get back. You got to get back.
Well, I just don't want my house torn up and stuff.
I know that's right.
Floor.
Then the dog is not in the cage.
No.
Okay. Well, what kind of dog is it?
It's a mini golden doodle.
Oh, okay.
His name is Bean. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Karima, let's start out. Let's talk about like your journey. Where are you from?
I was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I can claim Nashville because I've been here a long time. At least 25, 26 years.
Yeah. What brought you up to Nashville? Did you come straight to Nashville?
I did not. I stopped in Huntsville along the way. That's where my music career started.
Yeah.
And so I was about 18. I was going to college. Didn't want to go to school. I hated school, period. Growing up, I hated it. It just made me feel anxious. I didn't feel smart for some reason. And so it almost made me feel like I shouldn't go. But my mom was like, "Are you crazy? You got to go to school."
Was it the structure of school?
It was more, I think it was more of a self-esteem thing.
Really?
Yeah. So I had that little issue, but I also knew how to sing.
Yeah.
And so I always thought, wow, if I could do something I actually really love, it wouldn't feel like work. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I always had that mentality, even before when I was little. But I was about 8 years old, and I realized that I could sing. And then, if you're like loving yourself and you're feeling yourself like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
But that wasn't it. I heard my older sister tell my mom, like, have you heard her sing?
Oh, wow.
And so that struck a chord with me, and it stayed with me.
Yeah.
And so by the time I finished high school, I actually snuck behind my mom's back, and I wanted to go to hair school, anything that was creative. I was a creative,
You're an artist. Yeah.
Artist from the jump. And she asked if I was crazy. She was like, no, ma'am. No one stays in New Orleans.
Wow.
No one stays in New Orleans.
Okay.
We're not staying here. I didn't have the opportunity to finish 7th grade. So none of you guys will stay here.
Okay.
You will leave. And she said, if there were school here, I still wouldn't want you to stay here. Because it was just kind of, rough where we grew up and everything.
Yeah.
And so...
5th Ward.
No, actually 3rd.
Okay.
I was just going to say 9th. I was like, ooh, yeah, that's real bad.
Hey, that's all I heard about New Orleans. So,
Yes, wards and stuff. But so I got out, and she made us, pick a school. It wasn't hard. We all went to Oakwood University, which is in Huntsville, Alabama. And when I got there... Actually, I'd gone like a couple trips before, because you ever heard of college days where they recruit kids and they want to, they go and see if they want to be a part of this school. And I was like, I do not want to go to this school. I don't want to go to school. I just want to go to hair school.
But did you know Oakwood was a big music school?
Had no.
Okay.
I mean, but you don't know until you, get a little older and you actually figure out, oh, this is probably, it still didn't click. My sister, who's a year older than I am. She got to Oakwood, obviously, a year before me, but there was something called college days, and you got to go in your junior and your senior year. Okay. And so I went in my junior and senior year, and Ebony was telling everybody on campus that I knew how to sing. I was like, why is she doing that? stop telling people that I can sing. And so when I got there, of course, they were like, oh, yeah, your sister tell us you know how to sing. Let's challenge. And I was like,
oh, wow.
What? You know, they were bold. And so I had to sing in front of all these people. And that was my start.
Yeah.
And so when I got...
You shut it down.
I'm not going to do all of that, but it was good. It was good. I just remember singing and a bunch of, people around me. And then by the time I got to school, I sang for another program, and I remember everybody standing up, like it was a standing ovation. And I was like, okay, all right, okay, I like this. And so I was asked to because Oakwood University is a Christian centered campus. You go to worship and, you credit for going to worship. And so one evening there was some kind of consecration, worship service. And I was asked to put a group together for that. And so I put myself, my sister Ebony and two friends. And we sang one song. And that song got all the way to New York and to California and here in Nashville.
The recording of it?
It's somebody like literally recorded it. And people heard it and they were like, y'all need to stay a group. Y'all sound really, really good. And it was amazing. We sang this old song by the Pace Sisters. And we just sang one song. And we stayed a group. And I remember, I don't know if you know this guy named Roger Ryan. Roger Ryan is an amazing pianist, artist here. He's still in Nashville. And so he loved us so much that he brought us to Nashville to start rehearsing, just to stay a group and to stay current, stay fresh. And so some time had passed, and he never told us he had an executive friend that was in the music industry that was going to come to our rehearsals. And so this fair-skinned lady walks in, and we're like, who is that? Didn't, spoke to her or whatever, didn't pay her any attention, didn't know who she was. So she came, and like the third or fourth time she was there, she was like, hi, my name is Tyra Griggs McGee, and I am, I'm over Benson Records, but I'm starting up my own company in New York, a new record label called Verity Records. And I would love for you guys to be the first girl group on there. We were like, what?
So basically, she offered you guys a record deal with Verity.
Gave us a record deal with Verity. And we...
Now, when was this?
That was in 96. Okay. 96.
Were y'all still in school? In college?
I was the only one that did not finish Oakwood. Everybody else, they were older. I was the youngest. I was 18. And so I was like, that was my way out.
She was like, I like school anyway.
But, of course, later on, I turned 35. I went back to school. I finished and got a degree.
Did you go back to Oakwood?
I did not.
Okay.
Oakwood. But, it was just, I didn't live there. And it was just easy to do something here. So I started with the University of Phoenix online and then, in class, and then I finished online. So, but yeah, it's crazy. The path for your life, you just have to go with it.
Sure.
Even though sometimes you don't want to. Because I had no clue that my life would end up the way it ended up being, that I went to Huntsville. I was like, Huntsville? Who lives there?
So what year were you in at Oakwood when that happened? Like a sophomore?
That was my freshman year.
That was your freshman
92,
year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so check this out then. You guys got signed to Verity. Did y'all have to move? Or
we did not.
Okay.
We did not. They flew us. We would stay, in the places where we were recording for weeks at a time. So the first record, obviously, we were in Detroit for 3 to 4 weeks straight, working with Mitchell Jones from Commission and some other, local or Detroit locals that we work with. So it was an amazing experience. And I look back and I'm like, wow, what if I had never gone? What if I'd stayed in New Orleans?
Yeah.
So you have to do sometimes what you don't want to do to get where you want to be.
Yeah. And I love what you said, though. Like, you're guided, and sometimes you got to make the move where you're led. Yeah. And even though it may feel uncomfortable, but that's where God's leading you. So, and that's where the fruit is, so to speak.
That's right.
Right. So how many albums did you guys put out with Verity?
7.
Wow, for real?
Actually, not 7 with Verity. We did, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's either 4 or 5 with Verity. We finished our contract, and it was like 10 years. It was long. So we finished that, and then we got another record deal. The group evolved from 4, 2 sisters, 2 friends, to 3 sisters. And that happened really quickly because Heather, baby sister, she's been in the group for about 20 years. At least 20 years. So yeah.
So the two other members now are your blood sisters.
Yes, and the other two members who we still know and love, we were just honored at Oakwood University.
Okay.
So we got to do an entire concert with all 5 of us.
What?
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So how do you compare, back then, like getting a record deal, having a 10-year contract, whatever, to now? What's the difference in kind of the matriculation in the music business?
While we were talking, I was thinking about, because your show is called Tech Now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, things have totally changed. You know what I mean? Like, looking back, there were cassettes of Virtue. Seriously, that's how, I'm almost 49. So, literally, there were cassettes and there were, actual albums that you put on.
Yep.
It's just crazy. I'm on CDs too, but it's just so crazy that, you expect things to evolve, and that's where a lot of artists actually downfall, is because we don't educate ourselves with what is current. And I fall guilty in that category in some areas because number one, you get dependent on other people, leading the way. But you have to really dive in to understand. And for instance, 20 years ago, there's no way I could have put out my own music like I did to get this new deal that I have right now. There's no way it would have worked that way.
Because the technology wasn't there, it just wasn't as accessible, and it cost too much money.
Because it wasn't accessible because it was too expensive. But then the other side of it is just not even knowing what to do. Like you feel like you're in a whole bubble. Like, oh my God, what just happened? Life just evolves, and so you have to learn all the ins and outs. I still have people that I ask different questions, but doing a lot of research on my own, like, for instance, Virtue, we're still singing, but we're not as active as we were. But my love is singing, so I want to continue, which is what I did. And so I've learned about all these new ways and new avenues to, like, put out my own music. All these, of course, I would draw a blank with what the names of them are. To upload,
like CD Baby or Spotify
all of those.
Even Amazon Music.
But there's a step before that allows you to upload all of that to Apple, Spotify, and I forgot the name of it. But I had to look into that. But the other side of it is social media is such a great tool. And so
how so? Tell us
what I did was, because I was working at, I won't say the name, but I was a designer at a huge corporation that's everywhere. But I worked here in Nashville, and beautiful facility, lovely. It was great. I met so many influential people, so many just amazing connections, but I was sad going to work every day. And so I was like, this cannot be the end for me. It can't. And I'm skipping so much because I made soup. I did everything.
You made soup?
Yeah, I'll tell you about that. That's about to.
I'm trying to figure out where you was working.
You trying to think about it? I'll tell you after.
Yeah, tell me after.
But I would go and I would walk in these beautiful hallways, and I just told God, listen, this can't be it. So you have to show me what to do. He's like, you have all the tools you need to do what you need to do. And I was like, okay, so I need to write a song. So I reached out to my writing partner in Atlanta. We wrote this song called Up, How God Kept Me Up in a Pandemic. And I was like, ooh, how am I going to get this out? Because I don't have a record label at the moment. And you do need funds. You need money to make money. You just do. And so I'm like, I can use social media. So if I could put this on some app and upload it, and then I can just tell people to go and listen to it. There's SoundCloud, there's so many different avenues, right? But I literally prayed and told God, because I was listening to Lisa Winans and Juan Winans. They had a song out called It Belongs to Me. Beautiful song. Marvin Winans did a feature on it. And I was like, oh my God, tears coming. I was like, okay, but God wanted me to pay more attention to who put it out. And I was like, oh, okay, so is it okay for me to ask you, without feeling like I'm coveting, all of their stuff. I want exactly what they have. Like, I want all the bells and whistles. I want their art. Like, I want whoever did their artwork, who did their music. Like, it sounded amazing. Their pictures looked amazing. It was everything I wanted, right? And so I literally started praying, but I also did not stop at the prayer. I still uploaded my song up to social media, just clips and pieces, letting people know it's coming. Didn't know how I was going to do that. I just did it because I feel like if you don't move into a direction that you want to go, you'll never do it.
Yeah.
So I did it scared. And so I put the music out there, but I also prayed that that record label reached out to me. And I mean, as bold as and crazy as that sound, that was my prayer.
Yeah.
I said, I want what they have, and I need whoever is in charge, whoever connected to the label to reach out to me. And so months passed and I got a little discouraged. I was still saying the same prayer. I was like, look, I do not want to go back to this job at the top of January.
You making soup?
I was making soup, but you know, it was still, no, seriously, but the soup actually floated me. You know what I mean? Like, I sold this soup. I was, see, I can't, I need to finish this.
Okay.
Cause you're gonna have me
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you about the soup. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
But the whole point is, you know, technology and getting it to social media.
So what? So
but
what
the
happened?
blessing was that, you know, by October, that was in July. So I like completely got discouraged in August and September. Then October rolled around and I started praying the same prayer. And I had a DM from the CEO himself
of that
label.
Wow.
And it freaked me out because I was like, ooh. It was Thursday. I was like, I just asked God for this again. And he was like, girl, I got you.
Yeah.
And so I went and I looked and I had a message from him. And come to find out, I've known him for 20 plus years. He had worked with Virtue. Didn't know he was he was the label. He'd been in existence probably for like 15 years, had his own label, had no clue that he was as successful as he is. And so he reached out and he's like, what are you doing? Are you still singing?
Yeah.
You know, then he said, Wody. And I was like, who the heck is this? Because that's a New Orleans thing.
Yeah.
He said, Wody. You know, he was like, I know you from New Orleans. And finally he revealed who he was. And he was like, oh, Mook? Call him Mook. His name is Michael Anthony Taylor. And he was just like, he said, I've been watching you, man. He said, there's a light on your page. He said, there was something that drew me to your page. And I just needed to know, what are you doing? Are you guys singing? Are you singing? What do you want to do? I was like, why are you asking? Thinking, why is he asking out? Duh, you ask God for him to reach out. So he's asking you what you're doing. So you tell him what you want.
Yeah.
So I told him I wanted to do music again. And that was kind of history. And like, that's deep.
So did you guys sign another deal with that label?
I signed with, and the way that he set it up, which is so beautiful, is just, I can do a single here. I can do a single there. I didn't sign a whole record deal. Yeah. Like for a full body of work.
Because record deals are different now, right?
So different. And I like that, the flexibility in, because of, I'm older and nobody wants to be signing. Like, I don't want to be signed to a record deal when I'm 60 years. I'm like, who does that? I mean, if I'm making loads of money, but that is just not how it is.
But how so you make, and I'm trying to understand like how you make money as an artist. Obviously, you can go out with Virtue, you can go out solo, but you're making money performing.
Yeah.
And then you're making money on selling your music, right?
You
or
are. And so what a lot of artists, or if they're younger, what they need to know is to write your own music.
Okay.
Because that is...
On the publishing or?
On all of it.
Yeah.
Yes, because your publishing is what's going to pay you. That's your real money. And so while I wrote up, we never even... Actually, to be honest with you, Michael Anthony Taylor never even heard the clip of music.
Oh, wow.
That's what made it so God. Like, this ain't had nothing to do with what you did.
Right.
I wanted
so
to
you can't claim credit.
So, right, I can't claim the credit. But, you know, at the same time, like, this is what God wanted me to do. But at the, you know, I had a plan to, yes, do a song. Yes, to make money, but also just like to be relevant, to be current and stay out with everybody else, you know? And he was like, you know, I love that song and maybe we'll do it at another time. He said, but because you are a gospel artist and you haven't done anything solo in about, I don't know, it was about 10 years ago that I did something solo. And he's like, I think you need something that is more familiar with your audience. And I was like, okay. And so that's how we came up with Redeemer. is an amazing song. It's not just a song to me. It's like really literally my testimony. But at the same time, you know, it's a song that I love by Nicole C. Mullen that she did 21 years ago. No one had ever, at least that I know of, no one had redone it.
Okay.
And so it was supposed to be because I was listening to this song 3 weeks prior to even saying that it was going to be the song, you know, and so my sister confirmed it. I was like, I feel so close to this song all of a sudden, you know, I loved it and I play it periodically, but that day I hung up because my sister called and I was humming it and she said, that's the song you need to do. I was like, confirmation. Wow. That's what I thought too. And so when I took it to the label, he was like, perfect. Song went to #1 2 weeks in a row.
Wow.
And it's still in the top 10 on the recurrent chart.
So you went to #1 on what?
On Billboard.
On Billboard. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So is this like the gospel Billboard?
Yes,
or is it,
it's Billboard.
I'm not familiar with like how that works.
Yeah, it's
different.
It's categorized.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different genres. And so that's major. It was major.
Wow.
It's major.
So it's still top 10.
I just got a text yesterday. Your song is still.
So what does that mean to you, like as an artist? What does it mean financially? That's what I want to know. Like, does that mean I'm making money because you didn't write the song?
Right.
So how does that
Nicole
impact
is
you?
getting paid. But you know what? Here's the thing. Because I knew that wasn't going to be the only way for me to make money. And you can't have a one-track mind. And most artists, well, most artists that I know, they know that it is just not about singing. It is about staying relevant. It is about keeping your name in front.
Right.
So I can sell soup. So I can do
You get more gigs.
X, Y, Z.
Because you're relevant.
I have a clothing brand. Like your name is known because it's, you know, it's out there. So that was my mentality. Well, I love singing and I love the, you know, just ministering to people and just being positive and, you know, it is, you do have to make a living. And so that was my train of thought. I have a 17-year-old who's a senior and I'm just like, okay, so I got moves to make. So singing, while it affords
Your
me.
17-year-old going to Oakwood?
She is definitely going to Oakwood.
Okay.
And I thought she would go to Howard or as long as it's an HBCU, she's fine. I just I'm at Oakwood, so we have family there and stuff like that. So my nephew just started his freshman year, so she's like, I'm going. Cousins, all that. So she'll be there. But yeah, I thought about my long term. And so music does provide a few dollars if you do it the right way. It can provide a lot more dollars. But the key is to have multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
And that is just not through music.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, I can write songs for other people.
Yeah.
You know, and all those things. But my main goal was to stay relevant so people would know, oh, Karima, I know that name.
Yeah. So tell me something, Karima, because you just dropped some things. First of all, I appreciate you saying that, like, you asked God for what you wanted and then you took action.
Yeah.
That's some great insight because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, even, you know, like we have these dreams and a vision for what we want to do and we pray about it, right?
Yeah.
And then we sit and wait and, you know, and we get confused with, you know, this quote unquote miracle happening versus us still moving forward and taking action, you know.
Right.
So I appreciate you saying that. And it's called active faith. Really.
There you go.
But you just said, I don't want to bring up soup again, but you did say
You bring the soup up?
you have. So are you selling soup?
This is what happened.
Okay, so
Let me give you the soup story. Here's the
I'm just
soup.
trying to understand.
And, you know, I mean, a lot of people in Nashville know me for this. No,
Really?
That soup chick. That's the name of it.
So you can cook.
Yeah.
Oh, word.
Good.
Okay.
So, in the music industry, and people will tell you, being an artist, man, there are ups, there are downs, there are highs and lows to your pocket. And so I'm just like, okay, God, I got the divorce about almost 13 years ago. And I was just like, how am I gonna do this? I have to like really take care of myself because music is really all I know. Even though I went back to school, like I went back to school after I divorced, but you know, it's still a different world when music is all you know. You know what I mean? So like I could never ever see myself behind a desk or, you know, doing another job. And so unless I'm working for myself. And so I was at a wit's end, like my wit's end. And I was in tears because I was so frustrated. And I told God, I said, me and God, we got a good relationship.
Yeah.
He'd be hooking me up, like for real.
All right.
But I was angry. And I told him, I'm super honest. And I said, all the things that you promised, I want to keep believing them, but I'm not seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need something for me. Mm-hmm. Yes, music is great. You sound so great right now, mm-hmm. but I need something for me. Mm-hmm. So what could that be? So I prayed this prayer. And, this was about 6 years ago. And all of a sudden I had a craving for chicken noodle soup. I don't even like chicken noodle soup.
Really?
Because every chicken noodle soup I tasted has been just either bland or too salty with one carrot and one noodle and
one noodle
and one piece of celery. Like, what is this? What is this? So I never liked it. And so a week solid, I kid you not, I wanted soup. And I was like, I don't even know how to make soup. So I had to make the soup. Mm-hmm. I had everything I needed except chicken. I'm not a big meat eater. So I went to the store, I got the chicken, and I didn't even think about what I was going to put the soup in until after I fixed it. And when you make soup, it stretches, it grew. Mm-hmm. So this large, big pot of soup. And so I tasted it and I'm like, that is the best chicken noodle soup I've ever tasted in my life.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I'm like, I am biased because it's your food. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, no, I got to take some to Carly, my daughter. Mm-hmm. So I got in the shower and I was crying, and not even thinking about what God was about to do. Mm-hmm. So I told, I was reading this book, Draw the Circle is the name of it. And there was a whole, it's like a 30-day, 31 days, like a devotional. Mm-hmm. And by day 13, this book literally told me that I was going to make soup. Like my idea came in the shower. Mm-hmm. And so I audibly heard, fill the jars in the shower. And I was like, I don't know what that means.
You know what that means?
I didn't at the moment. Mm-hmm. And so, but when I got out of the shower, I literally found 3 mason jars that had tops. I had done the juice fast, whatever, and kept those jars in the tops. And I was like, I want to bring Carly some of this soup. Because Carly is like a snacker. She wants something to eat after school every day. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, we on a budget. You not get Smoothie King today. You gonna get some chicken noodle soup. So I brought her some soup, and she was like, Mommy, that was delicious. It was so good. But in pouring the soup in the first jar, my hand shook. I was like, you have got to be kidding. You want me to sell soup? I laughed. Mm-hmm. I was like, who's gonna buy soup for me? I'm having a whole conversation with myself. Yeah. Telling God, like, okay.
That's a legitimate question.
Like, who's going to buy, like, how do I do this? Mm-hmm. This is crazy. So my best friend, since 10th grade, owns the cupcake collection not far from here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so Mignon taught me how to package and ship. And she gave me all the materials I needed. And she's like, oh, no, you won't sell this soup because it's too good. So I let her taste it. She bought the first 10 jars from me.
Yeah.
So God was showing me, like, everybody's gonna buy soup for me. Mm-hmm. Silly girl. Like, are you kidding me? You can cook.
Wow.
Cooking is a ministry. Every gift you have is a ministry. And I was like, I get goosebumps every time I tell it, because I'm just like, I get blown away too. Like, all the things God has done for me. Like, this is crazy. So he allowed me to find this name before I left out the door to get Carly from school that day. I was like, so what do I name it? He was like, That Soup Chick. I was like, okay. Wow. That Soup Chick. So I wrote That Soup Chick down. I was like, that's going to be taken. So I checked real quick. It was available on social media. It was available for my website. It was available. Then my website was given to me. Gifted, $3,500 website. Wow. Gifted to me. Somebody gifted me a whole printer. I'm like, what do I need a printer for? Because you're going to be printing your labels.
Yeah.
Had no clue. So everything you need is always provided.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, God. So that was in, November-ish. So by December.
Last year?
No, this is like 6 years ago. So okay. By the end of that year, like, I just made a video, social media again. Mm-hmm. Social media is the bomb. Like, seriously.
.com.
So, .com. So I made a video and I told people that, listen, I don't know who's going to buy this soup for me. I said, but yes, somebody needs to taste it because it's really good.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm testing the market. I'm going to ship a few FedEx. And then
you put this on like Facebook or IG or something?
Yep. All over. And by December, I was shipping everywhere.
What?
I had shipped over 30 boxes, and not just like 2 soups. Nobody sells 2 soups, but I was selling suit, like
Yeah.
24 jars. I was selling 10 jars. I
That
was
is
selling 12
wild.
jars. So yeah.
So you still selling soup right now?
So God told me
I need to
that
try this soup. That's what I'm
God, now I stopped because of the pandemic, and then because it's the time sensitive issue with it's all fresh ingredients. So God
But
told
you
me.
stay in Middle Tennessee, right?
We're here, so yeah, we can get some soup going. We can get some soup. But anyhow, God told me it was going to be global, and so literally by December I should know if I got. Well, now I got the deal. It's going to start with like 350,000 hospitals. The soup.
What? Wow.
I'm telling you.
Are you kidding me?
No, and I probably shouldn't have said that, but y'all the first to know.
Hey, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So that's great. That's phase one. So music, soup, clothing brand, KarimaBrand.com. It's an athleisure line that I just decided, like when I was little, I would take all the scraps from my mom while she was sewing, and I was the one that I wish I could physically sew because I would make my own clothes because I just can't find what I like all the time. But yeah, I'm Karima Brand, shop KarimaBrand.com. It's guys and females and kids. I have all kinds of amazing stuff on there that I sell.
Now I was checking out your, it was either your IG or your Facebook page. I was like, Karima got some style. You got like this unique, like eclectic type of.
I am very eclectic.
Yeah.
I will take a shirt and tear it.
Yeah.
Cut it.
Yeah. I'm telling y'all, if I love like having conversations where people tell their story, but they also drop these nuggets, and that's what you're doing.
Oh.
I don't know if you know you're doing that, but you're doing it.
Well, it's just so amazing to have lived the life that I live. So many people don't understand how to get to the next step, and the key is just doing it. Do it scared.
Yeah.
You gotta do it scared. I'm still scared sometimes, but I'm like, I'm gonna try it.
so right now, Redeemer is still in the top 10, right, on the Billboard. And so what do you have coming up? Like what's around the corner? I know you mentioned you got some.
So I do have another single that's on like available everywhere.
Okay.
It's called It's Alright to Cry, and I'm looking forward to performing that and Redeemer in Huntsville next Saturday.
Okay.
The 27th. There's a big praise kind of festival. Worship 94.5 is putting it on, and so I'm gonna sing there, and then the following week, I didn't even, you have to have me back up for another talk about D-Nice and how Redeemer blew up on social media because of him.
Wow.
Yeah, he gave me a whole nother demographic.
So he was playing Redeemer?
He fell in love with it, and he invited me last August. I was able to open at his show at the Hollywood Bowl. It's crazy.
Nice.
It's huge. And so this Labor Day weekend, it's a CQ live weekend. So Fred Hammond and I are on that Sunday.
Okay.
It's a Sunday brunch because he does praise and worship.
Okay.
So looking forward to that. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all of the rest of the things the rest of the year. So,
yeah.
Being a mom is my first job, which is why I'm still here in Nashville. So I decided to stay until my baby.
You moving?
You know what?
After she goes to...
No, I love Nashville.
Yeah.
I do. I don't know where I would move unless, guys like, I need you
Not
here.
Huntsville.
No. But I say no, but if that's where God wants me,
Hey, Huntsville blowing up though.
It is,
so
Yeah, so Huntsville is completely different. I actually if I had to live there, it wouldn't bother me. But I like Nashville.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, Nashville's it. We had your best friend since you were 10 on the episode. She was actually at our speaker series. And she's a trip. So now it makes sense why when you talk, you drop all of these insights. Because that's what she does.
Does she? Okay.
You're like, oh, that was good. And I'm like, hey, Karima. So, no, that's good. That's good stuff, man. I think there's a lot of correlation between you as an artist and entrepreneurs because we're on this journey, right? And there's ups and downs. We have these setbacks and we have to, activate our faith and we have to, tell God what we want and then walk in it, right? With purpose. And sometimes it turns out better than we thought or imagined it could be. And it's only because we took those steps and used what we had. So I love the story about the suit though, because, you had this gift and maybe you didn't even know you had it. that you could, make this chicken noodle soup. But the questions you were asking and hearing from God and just being aware and then being obedient too,
That's the key. You have to be a listener because you can miss it.
Yeah.
You can, your own thoughts and all that stuff can overpower what
the key too in your story though, what really stood out to me is that you had a friend already who knew how to package, who knew how to structure this stuff. And it was like, God was like, yo, I got you. And you really already got all the resources. And I think that's how a lot of us in life are. Like, we want to do something and we don't realize we have everything we need already. We think we need all this external stuff and the connection, the money, and the this and that. And we literally have everything we need already.
Everything. I encourage my sisters every single day. Ebony just became a principal. That's what she's wanted to do. And Heather has 4 kids and she's like, I just want this building and I just want to do this. And I'm like, girl, start in your house. Start in your kitchen. And so I'm telling friends and anybody who will listen, start where you are.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Start where you are.
No, that's good. Yeah. Start where you are with what you have.
There you go.
So I thought you were going to go there to the story about, what's the woman in the...
No. That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
The oil. And yeah. Totally that story.
Okay.
I just think I was trying to hurry up.
We didn't want to do Bible study on y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because some people, at my event, never mind.
Hilarious.
Hey, Karima, I appreciate you coming in.
This is great.
And I think that our listeners would definitely gain something from your story and the conversation we had. So I know you got to get back to your dog.
My bee.
And all that good stuff. And we got to talk about that soup. How we going to get some soup?
I'm going to just make you guys something.
Oh, word. Love it. Hey, y'all, if y'all aren't following us on social media, please do so. The handles everywhere is TechDontSleep. But especially subscribe to the YouTube channel because we're trying to get them numbers up. You know what I mean? And thank you so much to our sponsors who are sponsoring the podcast and our events. So that's definitely Comcast Business, TPX for Q3, and Spectrum Voice. So we appreciate y'all big time for making this happen, including our events. Thanks again, Karima.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we will have you back because we know you got a lot going on.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I do. I'm about to run.
She out. Holla.
Get me a...
Can't stop till I